So today we're going to do, honestly, guys, it's just our opinion, and we'll kick off with the Knights preview for 2024. I better actually find my notes. There they are. And I also better find my ladder.
Yeah. The ladder's getting interesting, John.
Yeah.
Only 5 teams left. I'm interested to see how yours is shaping up.
You've got you've only got 3 spots left in the top 8, and I've got 4.
Yeah.
So let's see where we think the Knights are going to finish.
Yeah.
So they've had some gains. They obviously had that run last year where they were terrible, and who's the coach again? Adam O'Brien's job was in danger. They were writing his obituary, and then they went on that 10-run streak. And we discussed at the end of last year with their season review, it was kind of not the toughest competition, but their team has had massive changes. So
they've lost Dom Young, who was the top try scorer last year, John.
Yep.
So he scored 25 tries last year. So where are they going to get those 25 tries from? They've lost Lachlan Fitzgibbon. They've lost Kurt Mann. They've lost Farmanu Brown. And just off looking at some of these ins, John, I don't think they have made the appropriate replacements, have they? Kai Pearce-Paul from the Wigan Warriors, Will Price from the Huddersfield Giants, Jack Cogger from the Panthers. I know there's a lot of raps on Jack Cogger, John. I'm not sure about Jack Cogger, though, John. I think he was made to look good by that Penrith side who was around him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's really the answer there in the halves for the Knights. And Jed Cartwright and Tom Jenkins as well. I think they've lost a lot more than they've gained
most definitely.
this year, John.
They've lost that dominant game. Bailey Hodgson as well, Adam Clune. They've lost so much and they've gained so little, and that's the big issue I see for them this year. As I said, they went on that 10 winning streak run that got them into the finals after pushing for the spoon, basically. And the competition in those 10 wins weren't actually that good when you analyse it. Yes, they won a finals match, and then they lost their second finals match.
Yeah, they lost to the Warriors 40-10 in week 2.
Yeah. So that's Adam O'Brien's 5th season in charge. He started 2020. He has made the finals every year except 2022. So 3 out of 4. But last year was his first finals game win. They beat the Raiders, yeah? They're the ones that knocked the Raiders out.
Yes, they beat them in extra time.
Yeah. Yes. Just a quick note, they're the 11th favourite to win the premiership, that $26. And with the bookies, they're actually sitting at 9th. They're the 9th favourite to make the 8, $1.90, so bet with your head not over it.
I mean, that run that Kalen Ponga went on in that 10 in a row streak that they had, I wouldn't go as far as to say that it was Tom Trbojevic in 2021 or Ben Barber in 2012 or Jared Hayne in 2009, but it probably wasn't all that far away, John. It was a very good run of form from Kalen Ponga.
Yeah.
And that sort of a run of form can be hard to replicate. Ben Barber never replicated his 2012 form, ever. Jared Hayne never replicated his 2009 form, and Tom Trbojevic since 2021 hasn't been able to get on the field for long enough. So that you can't just turn up every year and produce that sort of rare form like that.
No.
So if they're relying on, and again, before that run of 10 in a row, you've touched on it, John. They were battling for the spoon. They were down the bottom of the ladder, and Adam O'Brien's job was in jeopardy. So I just sort of feel, John, I feel like they're due for a slide. I have to say, and look, I'm in a similar frame of mind to the bookies. I know they've got them on the 11th line of betting. John, I've got to say I've got them finishing 15th this year.
Who did I have finishing 15th? The Raiders. No, I know I had the Tigers. So yeah, well. If you look at they have a easy draw. This is one of the things, right? And that's what they had last year as well. They had an easy run home. It's different before we start the season when we talk about easy draw. When you're in the middle of the season, you talk about an easy draw. Because in the middle of the season, everything. We knew where all the teams were at, and so they played teams like the Rabbitohs, who everyone expected to be difficult in their run home. They played, Dragons, obviously, Bulldogs, Dolphins, Tigers. They are playing the bottom 4 7 times. And the top 8 11 times. So who they're playing twice is the Raiders, Bulldogs, Dolphins, Titans, Storm, Panthers, Warriors, Tigers. Now you look at that, they got the Storm, Panthers, and Warriors twice. That's a massive ask, right? For 4 home games in the first 6 rounds, so that's good. But when they travel, they do have to travel far in those opening 6 rounds, right? So they're going to Cowboys, far north as you can get in Australia. They're also going to the Warriors. That's their 2 away games. Other than that, they got the Raiders, Cowboys, Storm, Dragons, and Roosters. Now, in that opening 6, they've got Storm, Warriors, Roosters. So I can't see them winning them. I could see them beating the Dragons at home. I could see them struggling with the Cowboys away, and I could see them beating the Raiders at home. So I could only see like 2 possible wins in that opening 6, and they're going to be the same as last year. They're going to be down the bottom of the spoon. Now, their run home is really easy as well. Again, like last year. It kicks off with the Panthers, which is difficult. And then they got the Tigers, Sharks, Rabbitohs, Titans, Dolphins. Again, so many home games. They've got 3 home games out of their final 6. In theory, they could have another one of those runs at the end. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't see them doing that. And I have them actually finishing 14th.
Yeah, and I am wary, John. I am wary in the pre-season of reading too much into the draw as well. I mean, it's a new year.
Absolutely.
It's a new year. We don't know how good certain teams are going to be. You know, we're just guessing with certain teams on how good they're going to be this year. So you might look at the draw a certain way right now in February, but then we might get to June and you might be looking at it in a completely different way, given how teams have gone in the first half of the season. So I am wary of reading too much into the draw at this stage. I'd much rather be looking at, recruitment, gains and losses.
Yeah.
Injuries, that sort of thing I think carries a lot more weight than the draw, especially at this stage. But yeah, I guess some of these positional battles will be interesting, John. I know Willie Mason has no time for Tyson Gamble at 5'8" there. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Jack Cogger can force his way in there, John, or whether Tyson Gamble will keep his spot there at 5'8".
I've kind of have the feeling that Jack Cogger's been bought specifically to get that starting spot, actually. He's gone from that Panthers system. He's a grand final winner. He is the perfect fill-in for both Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai during the season. So he can play 7 or 6. And I would say they're looking for him to come in and become that that perfect kind of fill in either way and give not star power, but that heightened level to their spine, right? Because as Willie Mason said, you got Kalen Ponga and 3 other guys. Sorry, Tyson Campbell. As I've said multiple times, that's not the worst spine in the NRL anymore.
Yeah.
So Kalen Ponga and then 3 other guys, but now you've got Kalen Ponga and premiership winning 5'8" Jack Cogger.
Yeah, but John, I did have to laugh. There's a report I read that talked about Jack Cogger had an assured 29-minute grand final cameo after the Panthers lost Jerome Luai, and I thought, come on, it was Nathan Cleary.
Well, he did his job.
Who are you kidding?
Yeah, he played well in that 29 minutes he played when Nathan Cleary set up and scored 3 tries to take the game. But yeah, I just don't see them going well. I can't see them replicating, as you said, Kalen. They won that 10 on the back of Kalen Ponga in ridiculous form, playing 10 not so good teams from halfway through the year that got them into the finals. I don't really see how Adam O'Brien's job could be in danger next year if he misses the finals. It'll only be the second time he's missed the finals since he started. But, the Knights are a bit funny like that. They're perennial bottom of the ladder kind of team, actually.
Yeah.
They haven't won many premierships, and they won on the back of Andrew Johns. And they just don't accept mediocrity, but come on.
John, sometimes the stars just align for a player, and I think that they did for Kalen Ponga at the back end of last year. I know I keep talking about Ben Barber in 2012, John, but it was just extraordinary. At fullback for the Bulldogs that year, he'd get the ball in his own in-goal and he'd run through the whole team and score down the other. And it happened a number of times, John. Like, who does that? And it only happened that year for him. It never happened again. The stars can just align for a little while. And that's great.
Yeah.
But maintaining that is another thing altogether, John. And that's I just can't see Kalen Ponga being able to maintain that form that he had in that 10-game winning streak towards the back end of last year. I mean, he'll be good again, but whether he gets to that level again...
Well, yeah, and it was. I think there was a lot to do with missing out on Origin as well, where he took it as a slight and then went out and carved everyone up, right? If he misses out on Origin for the second year in a row, he can't take it as a slight and give that extra motivation. Now it's just a expectation. If he makes it to Origin, it gets in the way of the Knights' campaign as well, because they'll be without Kalen Ponga for a few games, who is their most important player. So yeah, I just can't see them going well. That'll be the Knights down the bottom of the ladder. As you said, you've got them 15th. I've got them 14th. Yeah, they're the one of the teams from last year that made the 8 that we both see missing. So that's 2 teams out of the 8. 3 Sharks, Knights, and Raiders that we've got moved out.
I've got a team here I can take you through, John. Predicted round 1 team. Kalen Ponga at fullback, Tom Jenkins and Greg Marju on the wings. It's big disappointing that they've lost Dom Young, John. Dane Gagai and Bradman Best, who played Origin last year in the centres, John. Mm-hmm. John, I am going with Tyson Gamble at 5'8" for the moment, but the caveat on that is watch your back. Jack Coggo could come in at any time if your form slips, but I think Tyson Gamble will get first crack there because he did take them to week 2 of the finals last year, even though Willie Mason thinks he had nothing to do with it, John. Jackson Hastings at halfback, Daniel Saifidi and Leo Thompson in the front row, Jaden Brayley at hooker, Tyson Frizzell, Dylan Lucas, and Adam Elliott in the back row. Mm-hmm. Adam Elliott at lock, the other 2 in the back row. The bench, Phoenix Crossland, Jacob Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, and Jed Cartwright. John?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my predicted round 1 team for the Knights.
So there's only like one... to use Willie Mason, you look through that 1 to 17 and you see Kalen Ponga and then 16 other guys. It's just I just don't think they have the team. Maybe Adam O'Brien is building to something. I think maybe last year was unexpected, and it looks like they haven't recruited very well to continue on with that form. So yeah, that'll do me for the Knights. Like they'll be. Don't know. I wouldn't have anyone betting on them making the 8. That's the thing.
I can just quickly run you through their casualty ward as it looks, John. Kai Pierce Paul has a toe injury, but he should be right to go, John, the new recruit from the Super League. Christian Mapapalangi, I think I got that right, has a shoulder injury, but he should be right to go if they need him. Phoenix Crossland has a knee injury, should be right for round 1. Jackson Hastings, an ankle injury, but should be right to go for round 1, John.
Yeah, still don't.
That's the thing, John. I've got 4 teams who didn't make the 8 last year, making it this year. So that means that other teams have to make weight. And I just think all things considered, the Knights will be one of those teams,
Yeah,
John.
100%. It's just like, I think you have to take them from the majority of last year as opposed to the minority, the 10 run, and look at the gains and losses to really have an understanding of what's going to happen. Like the majority of last year, they were very poor, and their team this year is arguably worse. So if the majority of this year, they're very poor, you can't see a worse team managing to get a 10-match winning streak to get into the finals. I completely agree.